Hey guys, welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. Today we're going to be talking about how to control your dreams. Okay, so there's two different meanings to this. There's like daydreams, which you may be talking about, where like your goals and your dreams and your future, right? Or you may be talking about your dreams where you're asleep at night. And I'm going to address both in this video. So first off, we'll talk about your dreams at night, because that's a little bit easier to talk about. So first off, there's something called lucid dreaming, right? Lucid dreaming is when you realize that you're asleep and that you're dreaming about something. So the goal, if you're having a nightmare or if you're having dreams that are negative while you're asleep, is to make sure you realize that you're in control, that you realize I'm asleep. When you realize that you're asleep, then you're lucid dreaming, and you can control or pivot your dream in whatever direction you want to. Like for example, like let's say something bad is happening in your dream, you can be like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go this way instead. I'm going to think about something else. Or no, I'm going to go this way and think about something else. And it's helps you. You may have to do it multiple times. I've had some dreams where they're pervasive and like negative and things like that, where I've had to pivot multiple times until I wake up from a nightmare. And sometimes that's uncontrollable. But that can be dependent on many things. It can be dependent on your environment. It can be dependent on the food that you've been eating. It can be dependent on the sun and the moon and the stars and astrology. It can be dependent on many different aspects of your life. Why you're having, dreams that you're having. Not all dreams mean something. Be careful of that too. Not all dreams are an omen. Some dreams do mean things, and pay attention to that. If you've been asking for a sign from God, sometimes, dreams mean things, but take that with a grain of salt, like make sure you don't base your entire life off of a dream. Sometimes that can be a very detrimental thing. So be careful of that. Get help, from multiple people. If multiple people are saying the same thing about your dreams, then, professionals sometimes consult. What I do is I always consult 3 different people. So like if I'm trying to figure out what a dream means, like if it means something in my subconscious, I consult like 3 different aspects of an astrologist. Or if I'm having a lot of nightmares, I may consult a medical doctor to see why I'm having, these many dreams that are negative and bad. Or I may consult, the internet to see like, oh yeah, I've been eating a lot of fruit roll-ups. Apparently people who eat a lot of fruit roll-ups are getting bad dreams or something like that. So, get a second opinion. Don't base everything off of everything else that other people are experiencing, and get multiple opinions on multiple, data points to base what your dreams are off of. That's important. Don't just, always think that it's a sign from God or a sign from, the universe or whatever being you worship or follow. Sometimes, nightmares can be because you ate Taco Bell or something, I don't know, or traumatic experiences that are trying to show you that you need to let them go. Or I remember I had a dream when I was younger, after watching Jurassic Park or something, where a dinosaur was chasing me, but it actually turned out to be my heartbeat in my eardrums. I could hear my heartbeat when I was sleeping, maybe because I was leaning back and at an angle where my head was tilted down, so all the blood was coming to my head. But the point being that I could hear my heartbeat in my eardrums, and I thought that was a dinosaur's footsteps chasing after me. And I woke up and I realized that that's what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's funny. And then I was able to go back to sleep. It happened again, and I was able to be like, oh no, I know that's my heartbeat. And I had a lucid dream where I was like aware that's what that was. Also, sometimes in my dreams I turn to the right or to the left to change direction, and that can open up a new world or a new idea, or help me get away from what it is that is negative in my dreams or nightmares. while I'm lucid dreaming. So just be aware that when you're asleep that you're dreaming, that and be aware of that. That's something that you can learn how to do. Look up, tips on lucid dreaming. There's a lot of professionals out there that are more experienced than I am on that, but that's what I would do personally for sleep dreaming and dreams during sleep. Daydreaming is a little bit different. The way to control your dreams during the day is to set a plan. A dream without a plan is just a wish. It's not a goal. It's not anything else. So the way to make it a plan is to write it down. To make a dream into a wish, into a plan, is to write it down. Get specific about it too. Write down the who, what, when, where, and why of this, and get specific, very, very specific on every single one of these. The more specific you are, the more clear you are on it, the closer you'll get to it. And an example of that is my car. I'll give you guys an example of that. Like, I manifested this Honda Accord for 2018, and I put it on a vision board. I have a picture of it, and I imagined what it felt like to be in this car, who was going to be there. I was going to be there. What it was the car. Specific car. I chose this car specifically because it's the color white, and the reason why I chose the color white is because police officers, strangely enough, don't pull over white cars or black cars. They pull over colored cars, like red and yellow and orange and bright green and neon colors. So I was like, I better get a car that's the least colored car that gets pulled over. That sounds a little racist now that I say that out loud, but I had good intentions. The point being, I just was tired of getting pulled over. I got pulled over a lot, and so I was done with that. So I chose the color of this car specifically. It also, a white car doesn't attract as much heat from the sun, and so it stays cooler on the inside during the day, so the seats don't melt, the leather doesn't melt on the inside, right? Beyond that, I also really like the style of this car. It's a sporty car. It's a Honda Accord, which is in the top 5 longest lasting cars of all time. They typically are in the top 5. So that's important to me too. I want a car that's going to last a very long time. They're not number 1, which is fine with me, but they're in the top 5. And that was important to me because it looks cool, as well as it'll last forever. So I plan on this car lasting 15 to 20 years. So it's a long-term investment as well, which is great. So that's another reason why. It's also very fast. It's new, but it's also not too new. It's from, I told myself that I wanted from the years of 2016 to 2018, so that it was a couple years after, it's the year 2022 right now. So a couple years after, the value has gone down enough where it's to the point where you can not overpay for the car. Because when it comes off the lot, straight off the lot, a car is typically, a little bit too expensive, or its value is a little bit more than it's actually worth, if that makes sense. Having a brand new nice car is also nice. However, you typically pay a lot fee, is what they call it, where you pay like an extra $10,000 for it because you're the first owner. You know what I mean? So I bought this car with like 100,000 miles on it, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted it in that range. Just a little bit used, but not too used, right? These cars can last up to 500 plus thousand miles or more, and this is an even newer one, so it's like from the year 2018, so it's going to last a very long time. So that's I got very specific on what I wanted and the who, what, when, where, and why. The when, I kind of messed up a little bit, and I'm going to admit this to you guys. When I was a couple years ago, I actually had the opportunity to buy a 2016 Honda Accord when it was, I think it was 2018 or 2019, I think. And I messed up. I ended up getting impatient, and I bought a truck because I like trucks too. I'm a truck guy, and I bought this truck for like $2,000, and I used some of the fund from the Honda that I was gonna get. I had like $6,000 saved up, and the back then was $10,000. So I was $4,000 away, and I used 2,000 of that 6,000 to buy a truck, because I was like, you know what, I'll just use this temporarily, blah blah blah. But then since I used that money, all that money somehow just disappeared, right? Like I didn't have a need anymore for the Honda Accord. I had a truck instead, and so like I kind of lost sight of my goal. I used the money that I was supposed to use for the Honda. I used the money that I was supposed to use for the Honda Accord towards the truck, so I kind of messed that up. So it took me a couple years to to get back on top of my goals and realize what I wanted. And the truck eventually died, which kind of sucked. But I was able to, eventually still get this car, because it was ultimately my end goal and ultimately what I wanted. It just took longer because I messed up. So don't use your money towards, something else that you don't really want. Focus on what it is that you do want and get clear on it, and focus only on that. And be patient. Sometimes it takes a little while. I was $4,000 away, and I had $6,000 saved up. So that's, just if you can see the negativity in that, you can understand. So getting clear on the who, what, when, where, and why. The where, I thought it'd be close to me. I looked and found, the specific car that I wanted from the specific place that I was going to buy it from, and I had a couple different options. The when is also very important. I had set a goal for myself for like 1 year to save up all the money, the $10,000, and I almost did it. But it ended up taking 3 because I messed up. So that's a lesson for you guys to learn. Don't do that. Set a specific date on when you're going to have it. I think if I had gotten a little bit more clear on what specific day, I would have done much better too. Because I said by the end of the year, right? Like I kept it open-ended and was like, well, by the end of the year, I'll have this car. I didn't say by December 30th, 2019 or whatever it was that year. I didn't say by that time, by 5 o'clock at night, I will have $10,000 saved up. And so that was kind of to my detriment. I just kept it open-ended. If I had done that, what I could have done, if I had set a specific time and date, I could have worked backwards. Like, okay, well, how much money do I need to make every single day to get that car, right? What am I going to do? How can I get a loan? What banks am I going to visit? What type of work am I going to do until this date to save up that amount of money, right? What sort of things am I going to do to get to that point? And if I had done that, I would have, and had a clear, end date, I would have succeeded, because I would have had, a little bit more of a focus. Because I think I was a couple months off or something like that. If I had waited a little bit longer and put in, like, let's say 3 more months of work, I would have had $4,000 easily, right? I would have had that, and had that exactly when I wanted it, and I would have been 3 years ahead of where I was now, right? I would have had that car back then. I ended up still finding a way to get the car. I still ended up doing it a different way, but it just took a longer time, and I had to do a different process, and I had to learn and fail at that lesson. So that's why I'm teaching you guys not to do that. So get clear on what it is that you want. If you have a dream, let's talk about dreams real fast. Like, what is your dream, first off? Figure out what it is and why. When I was younger, I wanted to be a spy, right? And that was my dream as a kid, was to be a police officer or a spy. But that was only until I realized spies have to kill people in real life, right? Like, I didn't want to kill people. Obviously, I realized, like, nowadays, as an adult, they kill people that are killing other people, right? But when I was younger, I found out they had to kill people. I kind of pivoted and changed what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do to the opposite of that. I decided to become a healer. I was on track to become a doctor. So in high school, I got tons of certifications. I became a CNA, I became an EMT, I became a psych tech, I became a physical therapy technician, and I did all the things that it took to get me prepared for doctor and nurse level, like to go to medical school or go to nursing school. And I realized that all these, things were kind of what I wanted, but also kind of not what I wanted. My parents urged me and kind of pushed me in that direction as well, which I'm grateful for because I learned a lot and I was able to help a lot of people. However, it wasn't the totality of my purpose. I felt like I had more to give and more to share with people than just that. I did learn many valuable lessons as well from that, but those are for another video. So I started to explore a little bit more and figure out what my dream was, and throughout your life you need to do that. You need to do some exploring and traveling and learning and trying new things to figure out what it is that you like, because if you don't try new things, you may never discover what it is that's your passion or what your dream is or what you love, what you truly want to do. Along the way I discovered acting, which I really like acting. I like being in movies and television shows, and I've done a little bit of that. And without that I never would have discovered public speaking and YouTube and helping people through this avenue as well, starting my own business and being a business owner and helping people in that way. So I never would have started this channel. So things all have their purpose, and they all have, you know, their time, and all of those things are wrapped into one now. You know, like I'm able to help people, I'm able to heal people, I'm able to teach people, I'm able to teach people how to control their emotions, to learn about finance, to learn about their, you know, environment and themselves and their, you know, positive and negative traits and their thoughts and their feelings and things like that. And so that's something that's, you know, very beneficial and something that I've been able to learn from, you know, various people and various experiences and various life things that life knowledge that I've gained. So I'm very blessed and thankful for that. But the goal is, or the point of this is that your goal can change, your dreams can change, and that's okay. Allow that to happen. Don't hold on to dreams if you feel like you're evolving and you've become somebody else that no longer aligns with your dreams. Because as you get older, as you change, it's going to change. You're going to become a different person. They say that every single cell in your entire body changes over or becomes a new cell after 7 years. So after every 7 years, you are actually physically, biologically, a completely different person, because every single cell, every single atom in your body has changed, which is crazy. So just remember that in 7 years, you're going to be a completely different person than you were 7 years ago. So, and if you think back right now, you may be a completely different person than you were 7 years in the past right now. But in the future, it's going to be the same. So keep that in mind as you set your goals, but also that means that you should set your goals in a shorter time period, right? And what I mean by this is something that Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said, set your goals sooner. If there's a goal that's going to take you 10 years, set a goal that's you're going to do it in 3 months. And you may fail, but at least you'll be 3 months farther ahead than you were if you were going to be 10 years in the future, right? Like, for example, like let's say you want to become a famous professional athlete, right? If you focus on, you know, getting into the NFL in 3 months, you will be so much farther ahead than you would be otherwise. Figure out what it's going to take and work backwards from 3 months to get you farther ahead. Work every day of those 3 months to put yourself ahead of your competition. If you're going into the NBA, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be an investor, if you're going to be a police officer, a firefighter, a teacher, anything that you want to do, if you're going to try to do it faster, you'll get farther ahead and you'll become a better person for it. So set a goal, set a time frame. By what date are you going to start or have your dream, right? What date are you going to be a teacher? What date are you going to be a, you know, XYZ NBA player, entrepreneur, a firefighter, police officer? Like, what day is that going to be? What day are you actually going to be that? And then work backwards from that day to now, to this very point in time that you're watching this video, and set goals every single day. If it's 365 days, make a plan for every single one of those 365 days to now on what you're going to do to get that goal. Because it's going to come. Those 365 days are going to be gone in 365 days from now. But you might still be stuck in the same place if you don't set a plan, if you don't set a goal on how to get what you want. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you don't have a plan, that means you're choosing to fail. You're choosing to let life take you wherever. If you choose a plan, like for example, like let me give you an example. If you're choosing to be a police officer, right? Let's say it's a 6-month course. You say in 6 months from today, I'm going to be a police officer, right? If you don't choose that, you could be off doing something else instead, right? Like for example, let's say your friend asks you to go to a party, right? And at this party, you get drunk. And at this party, when you're drunk, you decide to drive. And because you decide to drive, you crash and you become paralyzed, which will then stop you from becoming a police officer. But if you had set a more concrete goal to become a police officer, you might choose not to go to that party. You might choose not to drink at that party if you do go to that party. You definitely won't choose to drink and drive when you go to that party, etc. Like, your choices will be different based on the goals that you've set for yourself. So set the goals, make sure they're specific, and then you'll have a harder time deviating from those goals, if that makes sense. You'll enact a future for yourself that's more concrete. You'll choose choices and you'll make decisions based off the next 6 months and what your goals are for the next 6 months versus something that's not concrete. You could choose to just go party. You could choose to just go have a fun time. You could just go choose to, do whatever instead. But instead, choose your goal. You can do it. You can do what you set your mind to. If you believe in yourself, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, set your mind to it. Choose to do it, and enact your dreams and enact your goals. That's how you control your dreams, and that's how you get your goals, is you get clarity and specific on your goals, and you make a plan. And if you guys have questions, go ahead and comment them below. Thank you guys for watching. Have the day you deserve, and let's level up.